Welcome to the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250.
Green flag racing at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
The Indianapolis 250 is something that I have wanted to win for a very long time.
Winning this race would pretty much solidify my career.
The Indianapolis 250 means dedication. It isn't the race that's happened the most on the channel, nor is it the only race to run every year since this channel started. But unlike any other event on the calendar, this race sees a build-up where everyone from all walks of life in all types of ways contributes to a week and then a day, dedicating all our hard work to the channel, to the sport, and to the community. Doing so becomes a race where perseverance is mandatory.
Gonna take the 3 wide, and Baranowski set into the inside wall, and then come back through the field. A vicious crash in turn 4.
Determination is key, where the most dedicated of them all will see the checkered flag first.
All the way, Aaron Walpole wins the Indianapolis 250.
Whether you're a owner or a driver, you always want to win the biggest race on the channel.
The impossible has been done. He came from 33rd, and Brennan Wellington is the winner of the 12th running of the Indianapolis 250.
It almost feels bigger than the championship itself because, I mean, you might forget it like an IndyCar champion, but no one forgets a 250.
Angel Gutierrez for Dog Pound Incorporated. The legend has been done. He came from 33rd. Only one lap in this entire race. Mr. Ridge, you know he got it.
Rating wins the Indianapolis 250.
Aaron Walpole wins the Indianapolis 250. Dodger Baranowskis getting it once again here in Indianapolis. Has won last year, and for the first time ever, he's coming down. He's coming down the pit lane. Andre Baranowskis at the line steals it.
It means a lot to me, and I know it means a lot to everyone who watches this channel, and it's something that I definitely want to add to, my list of achievements here.
This 13th running is a dedication to our 11-year history and shows the dedication that will guide the future for years to come. This is what we've all been waiting for. This is where names become iconic. This is how AG the channel shows its dedication to us all.
This is the Indianapolis 250.
This is the Indy 250.
This is the Indy 250.
This is the Indianapolis 250.
This is the Indy 250.
This is the Indianapolis 250.
Andre Baranowskis at the line steals it. Has done it again. Ethan Lewis out of nowhere. Trey Smith has won his first win. Gutierrez wins. Brennan Wellington is the winner of the 12th running of the Indianapolis 250. Each year on Memorial Day weekend, we descend upon this famed speedway in Speedway, Indiana, the greatest racetrack in the world, for a tradition on this channel unlike any other that we do. For the 13th time, we are here for the Indianapolis 250. 33 drivers will take 100 laps around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway to continue a tradition that has lasted for well over a decade here on AG the channel. It is such an honor to be here once again on the Saturday before Memorial Day weekend and the Saturday before the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500. Today, we run the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250, one of the greatest races on the channel each and every year. And today, we will continue the history of this great race and write another name into the history books as an Indianapolis 250 champion. Welcome to the 2026 Indianapolis 250, the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. Let's see how it all goes down once again as we're back home again in Indiana, here in the Haas IndyCar Series. Hello, everybody. This is AG here, and welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway for the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. We are here again, once again, and we are so thankful to be here for the 13th running of this race. It is amazing how long we have done this event, and it is amazing just how fun it is each and every year. And it is such an honor to be back here once again, bringing you my absolute favorite event in NR2003 that we do on the channel each and every year. This Indy 250 has given us so many historical moments, as you have already seen in that great intro that Matt Tuck did for us. And I cannot wait to see who continues the history of this race here today, going to victory lane once again here in this Indianapolis 250. I say once again, we only got two drivers in this race who have won it before. Nicholas Samadeo, of course, a two-time winner of this race in 2018 and 2020, and last year's winner, Brendan Wilmington, in 2025. The other 31 guys have never won this race before, and it would be life-changing for them to win it here today. We will see who it ends up being after 100 laps here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Joined alongside, as always, here in this Indianapolis 250, my very, very good friend, Murray Pompiani. I believe this is either your 6th or 7th straight race that you've called this with me. You have seen this event over the years. You've seen all the memorable moments and the crazy finishes. What does it mean to get this Indy 250 race victory here today? One of these drivers is going to make history and go to victory lane here in this 13th running.
It would mean a lot for any driver to win this event, it being the biggest one of the year. It's the one that everybody looks forward to, and it's the one with the most bragging rights. So, yeah, you win this event, you're making a name for yourself.
No doubt about it. Whoever gets this race victory is going to make a name for himself. And Matt, you know a lot about that. And all those drivers and owners give you submissions for that great intro we just saw. And, I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. You know, I think you told the story of this race so well with that introduction, and so you know it. How big is it to win this Indianapolis 250? It is bigger than the championship. It's almost bigger than the Wall Cup Series championship. I would say that it is actually at this point, because if winning this race is just such a historical thing and is always such a great moment each and every year. What does it mean, Matt, to win this event here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Well, I think Andrew Williams said it best in the intro. This race means more. Winning this race means more than winning a championship in the series. I think it means more than winning any championship here on the channel. Not that is not a slander to any of the championships. We've seen some legends win titles here, but your name goes in forever lore here in the NR world if you win this race. You know, we see every year with the logo submissions and that contest, and somebody always puts the names of the winners on their logo submission every single year, because their names go down in the history of this race. It's an amazing tradition. It's not just about the race. It's everything that goes along with it, to the build-up for what we're about to see today here. And it's an honor to finally, being here for a very long time on the channel and getting to both drive, but now finally getting to call this race here. Is a special moment here, and this is going to be another fantastic chapter to this race's history we're adding today.
No doubt about it, Matt, and thank you for joining us here today. It is an honor to have you alongside Murray and I for this event, and we cannot wait to see who gets this race victory. Of course, this is the 13th running of this event. 10 drivers in the past have won this event, and it started with Max Neuwirth 11 years ago in the first running of the Indianapolis 200. Christian Master won another edition of that same race later on in that year, but 2016 is when the Indy 250 officially began, when Aaron Walpole went to victory lane in that year. Then Luke Rainey, Nicholas Samadeo, Audra Baranowskis at the line, Nicholas Samadeo again, Ethan Lewis, Trey Smith, Angel Gutierrez, Audra Baranowskis again, and Brendan Wilmington from 33rd to the winner's circle last year in this Indianapolis 250. Anything and everything is possible in this race, and we have 33 drivers who are here looking to get it done. So with that all being said, Murray, what is the key to winning this Indianapolis 250? It's 100 laps. We're going to have 2 cycles of pit stops, a roughly 40-lap fuel run here today. What is the key to getting up front and kissing the bricks and winning this Indianapolis 250 here in 2026?
Well, they say nobody's perfect, but the key to winning this race is perfection. You don't want to mess up your pit stops. You don't want to have contact. You certainly don't want to get involved in a wreck. So keeping it out of trouble all day and getting yourself up front towards the end, I think those are the keys to winning this race.
And Matt, you own a team in this series with GRT Team Velocistar. You got Logan Williams and you got Brayden Perez in this event, so I know you've been working with them on the driver rating aspect of this, which is a new thing for this Indianapolis 250. And while the range isn't near how it is in the Wall Cup Series, I think we saw a little bit of that come into effect on Sunday when it came to Indy 250 qualifying. So with all that in mind, how do you think this race is going to play out, and who do you think has the best advantage considering those driver ratings? Not an official pick right yet, but how do you think it's going to play out, and what do you need to do to win here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway?
Well, I think what Murray said, stay out of trouble, keep your track position, nail your strategy. I mean, that can bite you here, and you're going to need your car to hold up for the next 250 miles. So there's a lot of things you need to have go your way here, but it all, like you said, it all started last week in qualifying, and it culminates here today.
We'll have to see how it all culminates here in the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. And Roberto Crown Jr. will be leading us off to the green flag here in just a short little while. But as we always do, we do opening ceremonies, and then we are going to introduce the 33 drivers who are running in the 13th running, the 2026 Indianapolis 250.
The impossible has been done! He came from 33rd, and Brennan Wellington is the winner of the 12th running of the Indianapolis 250!
Folks, ladies, and gentlemen, welcome to the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. Here are the 33 drivers starting in this year's great race. Starting 33rd in the number 39 Evans-Ross Racing Toyota in her second Indianapolis 250, Dylan Matthews. Starting 32nd in the number 81 Dog Pound Incorporated Chevrolet in his 7th Indianapolis 250, Zachary Fitzwater. Starting 31st in the number 40 BO Racing Chevrolet in their 6th Indianapolis 250, Angel Olvera. Starting 30th in the number 73 Dracoan Racing Enterprises Lincoln in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Bruno Giacomo. Starting 29th in the number 48 BK Industry Chevrolet in his 9th Indianapolis 250, John Andrews. Starting 28th in the number 27 Dutch Atlantis Racing Nissan in his 4th Indianapolis 250, Tanner Parton. Starting 27th in the number 17 Hergel Motorsports Mercedes in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Marcus Litch. Starting 26th in the number 63 GRT Team Velocistar in his 4th Indianapolis 250, Braden Perez. Starting 25th in his 1st Indianapolis 250,
Lewis Bishop, your Eagle Freight Britain, GRT.
starting 24th in his 1st Indianapolis 250,
Try out Port, driver's number 80 Bo Racing Chevy. I'm from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. This is my first Indy 250 start.
starting 23rd in the number 91 Evans Ross Racing Toyota in her 3rd Indianapolis 250, Ludovic Charette. Starting 22nd in the number 98 NS Racing Chevrolet in his 4th Indianapolis 250, the defending winner of the Indianapolis 250, Brennan Wilmington. Starting 21st in his 8th Indianapolis 250,
Justin Zidell, Durrani Racing 2019 Haas IndyCar Series champion.
Starting 20th in his 1st Indianapolis 250,
Trey Wright here, driver of the number 67 Hergel Motorsports Automobile, Indy 250 only entry here for the 2026 running of the Indy 250.
Starting 19th in the 00 Dog Pound Incorporated Chevrolet in his 5th Indianapolis 250, Jay Knapp. Starting 18th in the number 60 BO Racing Chevrolet in his 2nd Indianapolis 250, Max Davis. Starting 17th in his 2nd Indianapolis 250,
Andrew Miller, Evans Ross Racing.
Starting 16th in his 3rd Indianapolis 250,
Eric Motto, driving the number 78 Lowe's Machine from Unionville, New York.
Starting 15th in the number 18 Dracoan Racing Enterprises Lincoln in his 4th Indianapolis 250, Aaron Abel. Starting 14th in the number 57 Dutch Atlantis Racing Nissan in her 1st Indianapolis 250, Hallie Anderson Jr. Starting 13th in the number 3 Dog Pound Incorporated Chevrolet in her 3rd Indianapolis 250, Sarah Taylor. Starting 12th in the number 23 GRT Team Williams in his 7th Indianapolis 250, Thomas Troxel. Starting 11th in the number 33 Dutch Atlantis Racing Nissan in his 12th Indianapolis 250, the two-time Indy 250 champion, Nicholas Samadio. Starting 10th in his 6th Indianapolis 250,
Logan Williams, driver of the number 83 GRT Team Velocistar machine from Port Washington, Wisconsin.
Starting 9th in the number 49 BK Industry Chevrolet in her 4th Indianapolis 250, Luna Lona. Starting 8th in the number 97 NS Racing Chevrolet in his 8th Indianapolis 250, Max Anderson. Starting 7th in his 3rd Indianapolis 250,
Caleb Rose, Harlan, Kentucky, driver the number 03 for GRT Team Williams. Time for some fun here in the greatest race of the year.
Starting 6th in the number 99 MNAL Racing Cadillac in his 3rd Indianapolis 250, Brad Stover. Starting 5th in the 01 Dracoan Racing Enterprises Lincoln in his 1st Indianapolis 250, Keegan Thompson. Starting fourth in the number 12 Vision Motorsports BMW in his first Indianapolis 250, Brian Webb. Starting third in the number 9 Vision Motorsports BMW in his fourth Indianapolis 250, Bradley Bradshaw. Starting second in his third Indianapolis 250,
Avery Alford, Gainesville, Virginia, 3-time winner of the Haas IndyCar Series, 26 years old.
And the pole sitter for the 2026 Indianapolis 250, driving the number 50 BK Industries Chevrolet in their second Indianapolis 250, Roberto Crown Jr. And those are the 33 drivers starting in this year's Indianapolis 250, all led by Roberto Crown Jr. in the number 50, an Indy 250 only driver driving for BK Industries in Blaine Keys. Alongside them, it's the number 28 of Avery Alford, who was fastest in the main practice session last Wednesday. Two-time runner-up here in the Indianapolis 250, Bradley Bradshaw starts to the inside of Brian Webb in his very first Indianapolis 250 start. Keegan Thompson in the 0-1 for Dracoan Racing Enterprises in his first Indianapolis 250 to the inside of Brad Stover in the 99. We've got Caleb Rose running in his third edition of this event alongside Indy 250 veteran Max Anderson. And rounding out the top 10 starting positions is 2023 Haas IndyCar Series champion Luna Lona alongside Indy 250 veteran Logan Williams. Nicholas Samadillo starts in the 11th position alongside Thomas Troxel. Will Samadillo get his third Indy 250 race victory? Brendan Wilmington, of course, the defending winner of this race, starting back in the 22nd starting position, which is 11 spots better than what he had a year ago when he went to victory lane. All right, gentlemen, we've got a full field here. Who do you think is going to win this year's Indianapolis 250? I'm going to start with you, Murray, and then we'll move over to Matt, and then we'll get these guys to roll off here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Alex, I'm going to go with Max Anderson, starting just inside the top 10. Never had a top 10 in this event before, but I think he does it today, and I think he does it by getting his first Indy 250 victory.
Well, I'm going to go the guy starting behind him, Logan Williams. I mean, we were close here a few years ago when we were in red, but this is the guy, this is the duo I need to break through and win this race, and I think Logan gets it done here today.
We'll just have to see if either of you are right in your pick. Hey, comment below or comment to the side who you think's going to win this race, because it can be anybody, just as Brendan Wilmington proved to us 1 year ago. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here. Roberto Crown Jr. going to lead us off in the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. And always such a moment of anticipation, the green flag of the Indianapolis 250. And Murray, we've been to the real-life Indy 500 the past few years. We know that anticipation as the cars are coming to the yard of bricks to take the green flag. What are these drivers thinking, knowing that the next time around, they'll be going in the turn number 1 at nearly 220 miles per hour to start this 100-lap race?
Well, they're definitely thinking a multitude of things. I think the first and foremost one would be don't Scott McLaughlin it, don't wreck on the pace lap. But the same thing could apply to the first lap of the race. You know, don't be a hero into turn 1. It's 250 miles, and you're going to want to keep your car clean.
And Matt, this is your first ever time in the booth for the Indianapolis 250, so I'm just going to ask you kind of on a personal level, how excited are you to watch this race unfold live with us here today for this 13th running of the Indianapolis 250?
No, I think it's really cool. I mean, I've joked about it before, but I mean, I remember being here on the channel when you were pushing around 164s on cardboard racetrack. So to be here this many years later, I think is really cool, and glad to join you gentlemen here for today's race.
It's going to be one heck of an event here today, and we've had the entirety of Indy 250 week leading up to this moment here in the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. And I must say thank you to everyone who has made this event what it has been over the past decade. This race means a lot to me, both here and in real life. It is a big part of my life, and the biggest part are the friends that I made along the way. Both Matt and Murray I have known for over a decade. I am honored to be their friends, and I'm honored to have them along with me today, and I'm honored to show you all this here today for the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. Let's have some fun. We're back home again in Indiana here on Memorial Day weekend. The pace car is down the pit lane. Roberto Crown Jr. and Avery Alford going to lead us off. The green flag is going to fly in the air, and we're underway in the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. Lap 1 will be led by our pole sitter, Roberto Crown Jr., Bradley Bradshaw, Avery Alford, Keegan Thompson, and Max Anderson. That is your top 5 here on lap number 2, but a great jump to the start of this race for Roberto Crown Jr. and Blaine Keys, and Roberto out front here in this Indianapolis 250 for 2026.
Yeah, Roberto getting a nice jump in an early lead. I thought the 28 might get it around the outside on lap 1. They were side by side for a while, but that 50 car is strong here in the opening couple of laps of this race.
Yeah, I mean, we see Crown Jr. jumping out early here. Bradshaw, Alford, top 3 tucking in line. Anderson's crawling up here into the 5th position, breaking away kind of early. So is Caleb Rose. The pack is definitely starting to separate here, so that's going to be something interesting to watch. Talk about track position, and they've already got a draft going up here early, just pulling away from this field as they're working together.
And Matt, I remember at the end of Carb Day yesterday, I mentioned how back in the early years of this race, it would be a cycle race, and we'd be 2 wide throughout the entire track, pretty much the entire race. Well, now we've got a bunch of single wide going on already. We're only on lap number 3, but don't you worry, folks. We're going to see a lot of passing up front, a lot of passing throughout the entire field. But the way these guys race now, with those driver ratings in play, just makes it all the more difficult to really move your way through the field as easily as you once did. Bradshaw had a shot on Crown, could not get there. Max Anderson to the inside of Keegan Thompson for the 4th position right there. And here comes Caleb Rose in the 03 machine, trying to get to the inside of Keegan Thompson, but unable to get that to work. We've got ourselves in the top 6. 3 drivers who are Indy 250 only drivers, and of course in the Fast 9, 4 of those drivers were Indy 250 only drivers. Brian Webb, his first ever start in this race, driving for Vision Motorsports, currently in the 8th position. 2-time Indy 250 champion Nicholas Sambadio is 9th, and Sarah Taylor, an Indy 250 only driver, is 10th. And you got Brad Stover, Hallie Anderson Jr., Eric Monaco, Thomas Troxel, Andrew Miller, Max Davis, Jay Knapp, Ludovic Charette, Lewis Bishop, Brain Perez, Trey Wright, Aaron Abel, Logan Williams, Brendan Wilmington, Tanner Parton, John Andrews, Justin Zidell, Charlie Davenport, Bruno Diacomo, Angel Olvera, Zachary Fitzwater, Marcus Glitch, and Dylan Matthews at the back of the field, all in a line, with Roberto Crown Jr. still leading this field here at Indianapolis. But Avery Alford got shuffled out of line. Here comes Luna Lona for position, as Max Anderson now up to the 3rd position here in Indianapolis.
Yeah, Max Anderson's got a fast car. If I remember right, they started 9th, just inside the top 10, and they're already up to 3rd. But the real story right now is, as we see a pass for, 7th or 8th place there.
Nicholas Sambadio.
Yeah, and Sambadio looks like he's also got a fast car. A little bit higher line than I would have liked to see through that corner, but most of the field single filed out here.
Sambadio on the move, though. Caleb Rose in the 03 really moving through his way through the field. So is Max Anderson before the lead. Bradshaw's going to get to the inside of Crown Jr. Doesn't quite have enough momentum here. Tucks back in line. Coming down the front straightaway to mark 7 of 100 here as we're just ticking laps off at almost 220 mile an hour average speed right now. We're going to fly through this race if that pace somehow holds. The Rose's car looks really strong here. That Team Williams machine looks very glued to the racetrack, and he's making passes early on in the going.
And of course, Caleb Rose, a driver who was once in the booth for this race the past couple of years. And once again, Max Anderson moving up another position. He's going to make this work on Bradley Bradshaw for second, going into turn number 3. And Max Anderson looks very strong. NS Racing won this race a year ago with Brendan Wilmington. And of course, Max Anderson, an Indy 250 veteran. This is Max's 8th running of this race, but he's never finished top 10. His best finish all the way back in 2017 and 11th. For third, here comes Caleb Rose. An opportunity for him there as Bradshaw got hung out of line through the corner. Avery Alford also going to move his way back through the field here. But this is such a spread out field that we've got going on right now here in Indianapolis. And you kind of touched on it, Matt. Past couple of years, this race has been incredibly clean. We actually had a stretch of about 190 laps consecutively in this event from 2023 to last year without a caution. 2024 went caution-free. And that's one thing that I've really enjoyed about this race in the past few years is how clean the racing is. But they're still going as fast as ever, and they're going to average 220 here very shortly as they continue to get faster and faster here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And Max Anderson continues to get faster and faster. He's right on the gearbox of Roberto Crown Jr., trying to perform our first lead change of the day here in the Indianapolis 250.
Yeah, I think that 97 of Anderson has the fastest car on the track right now as he'll go to the inside for the race lead. And they're side-by-side through turn number 3. Still side-by-side through the short chute on the north end of the speedway, but looks like that number 50 of Roberto Crown Jr. is going to retain the lead here.
And that outside lane looking very strong there for Roberto, Matt. And, you know, the driver ratings, we kind of talked about this, Matt, and how it's been. How do you think that's playing into effect at this moment in the race? Because we've got a lot of these Indy 250 only guys, but guys like Alfred and Roberto Crown Jr. were both fastest in their respective practices last week, so no surprise to see him run up front at this point considering that.
Well, I mean, and Roberto Crown Jr. has been around a while. Avery Alfred's had a nice couple of years here on the channel. Caleb Rose, Max Anderson's been around the community for a long time, so it's not like you're seeing a bunch of rookies up here. You know, we have drivers up here who know their way around Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and this is going to be fun here. Roberto Crown Jr. is holding ground really good here. Caleb Rose really has been the biggest mover so far, and he's kind of gotten stalled out here behind Max Anderson, and this is kind of similar to real life where it can be quite tough to pass at times here, but they're just taking off laps right now. I have a feeling, Murray's point, I think Max Anderson's going to get by Roberto Crown Jr., if not when.
Oh,
but as he said, almost into existence there in turn 3.
Almost got that pass made on Roberto, but couldn't quite get in. And I'm very impressed with Roberto Crown Jr. from the pole. Has led every lap so far, but it is not easy at all to dominate a race such as this. We've seen dominating drivers before, but rarely does the dominating driver end up winning the race. Here's Jay Knapp to the inside of Max Davis. And we got some shuffling going on here. Lewis Bishop going to get a nose to the inside of Ludovic Charette back in here in the mid-pack. But pretty much the entire field, single file right now here at Indianapolis, is kind of waiting to get to that first cycle of pit stops later on in the event. Be around lap 40, maybe just a little bit before lap 40, lap 38 or so, when we'll see these guys come down for the first cycle, assuming this race stays green, which in past years, historically, this race has stayed green for quite a while. Dylan Matthews, of course, she saw what happened with Brendan Wilmington a year ago, winning this race from 33rd. She hasn't gained a single solitary position yet in this race. Marcus Glitch fell back early on, Zachary Fitzwater as well. And that's how important qualifying was. As for second,
here we go.
Here comes Colonel Caleb Rose to the inside of Max Anderson for the second position. And Avery Alford trying to close in on Anderson as he got shot at a line off the exit of turn 1.
Yeah, and that was a sneak attack move by Caleb Rose. I don't know if anybody was expecting that given how good Anderson's been the last few laps, but Caleb Rose, biggest mover as we got to move into turn 3. I think that's the number 9 of Bradley Bradshaw. Looking, but not quite making up that spot. But a lot of jostling for position here behind the leader, even though we've had the same leader for now 14 laps.
We've had the same leader for 14, but as we run through turn number 1 at 219.989 average speed here, absolutely blistering pace. I don't think Caleb Rose is going to keep letting that pink and blue machine that's been absolutely a rocket so far in the early going keep running away with it down the back straightaway. But Anderson's going to jump out of line here. He's going to take second back. And he might drag Avery Alford along with him here. Alford's going to check back up, but side... Oh, my
Almost
goodness.
contact. Yeah, that was almost contact between Max Anderson and Caleb Rose right there. And that's going to slow those guys down just a little bit. They'll wind right back up to the 50 of Roberto Crown Jr., no doubt about it, but Anderson struggled to make that pass in the turn number 3. Tried it on Roberto earlier on in the race, couldn't get it done, and couldn't get it done on Caleb Rose right there. We'll see if he has another opportunity at it. So it's Avery Alford in 4th. Keegan Thompson. What a great run for Keegan Thompson in this race. First ever IndyCar start for him, and first ever start in the Indianapolis 250. Anderson's going to try it again. And Caleb Rose going to go a little wide off the exit there, trying to get that run off top. You know, as the tires start to wear out, that outside lane exit off of turn 3 actually has a little bit of an advantage, and we just saw that there with Caleb Rose. And it is difficult to make these passes work, but once we get through those cycles of pit stops, we get those tire strategies to start working out, things are really going to start ramping up in terms of the excitement on the racetrack. And I mean, it's already exciting as it is. And, you know, we want those qualifying laps that we did over the weekend, over last weekend, to really count towards something. And they absolutely have at this point, because a lot of the guys who have started up front are still up front here in this race. Max Anderson going to try again on Caleb Rose. He keeps on trying this turn 3 move. Will he be able to get the grip this time? Looks like he's got it now, as Keegan Thompson behind him makes a move on Avery Alford for 4th.
Yeah, and side by side for 2nd and 4th place, but Anderson still not able to make the pass. It looks like that outside lane is just the better lane right now, and it didn't really work out for the 97 there. But further back, we do have some more side by side action.
Yeah, further back, we got a good battle. Luna Lona, Bradley Bradshaw, a couple former employees of mine going at it here, looking good early. Sam Adio's working his way up through the field. Drew Miller, Evans Racing, a tail of the tape from last year when they couldn't get a car in the show. They got all 3 cars in the show this year, and one of them's flying his way through the field in the 93, so keep an eye on him as this pit stop cycle comes up. But they're all just, it kind of is playing out like a real race right now, where a lot of fuel saving, a lot of running in the draft. You need a big run to get to the round leader, but Caleb Rose and Max Anderson, they're going to run it back and try it again on this 50 machine.
Oh, Caleb's got a nose, but not able to completely make it stick, and Max Anderson once again going to try this on Caleb Rose for the 2nd position. This time he's got a little bit of help pushing him behind. That's Avery Alford in the 28 machine. He's going to slide back up on the outside. And Max Anderson's doing all he can. But that tighter radius around the corner is kind of making it a little difficult for him. If he can hold the inside in turn 1, though, he's going to get it. But we're seeing so far here in this race, it is difficult to make these passes for any position here today. But it is still very much possible. And Max Anderson going to take 2nd back away from Caleb Rose, and Keegan Thompson going to follow suit. Here comes Sarah Taylor in the 3 machine for Dog Pound Incorporated. And look at everyone behind, just jamming right up behind these top 5. And everyone's still right on each other here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, all in a line, all trying to get everything they can in this race. But Roberto Crown Jr. has gotten everything so far in terms of laps led. And they're going to lead here lap 19, closing in on a 5th of the way through the 2026 Indianapolis 250. And Roberto Crown Jr. has been the dominant driver so far, but Murray, we're halfway to pit stops, and that can change everything here in this race if you do not get it right.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to mess up your pit stop. You got to execute, and you also got to get the strategy right. So we'll see how, assuming pit stops are under green, we'll see how it cycles out. Pit entry, pit exit, there's factors that you got to consider. How about that 01 of Keegan Thompson, though? Started middle of the pack and up to 3rd. Got a rocket ship of a race car right now. Just, methodically getting through the field, and just impressive to see him up there.
Max Anderson trying to look again here for the race lead. He had an opportunity at it not too long ago. Trying to find something. He's going to try it here. Will we see our first lead change of the day? Max Anderson to the inside of Roberto Crown Jr. And this time he's going to get it. How about that? He made that look easy as well. And Max Anderson, an Indy 250 veteran, going to make an easy pass for the race lead here on lap 21. So there you go, folks. We can pass for the race lead, but maybe just maybe, Matt, Roberto Crown Jr. maybe trying to save some fuel here. I mean, fuel strategy may be a concern if we get a caution at the correct time. We've seen that come into play before. We obviously see that in the real-life Indy 500 with fuel mileage, and Keegan Thompson, I think these tires are starting to give out here. That outside lane is losing a lot of grip now, and Thompson's slipping back in the 01.
And Thompson looks really struggling now on that outside. I mean, you can kind of see your point. Tires are starting to wear out here, and I think this is the danger zone too, because when you get tires that start to wear out, guys and girls make bad calls, sometimes on track, overestimating or underestimating their car's capabilities. And this is the fun hour here, or the fun portion here. We're past halfway on the tire stint, and Andrew Miller just keeps stomping his way through the field into the top 10 now, taking advantage of some of these drivers who are struggling here. Thompson is dropping like a rock. I don't know. I believe that it's the tires, but something else I feel like is amiss with that 01 car, because he is just off the pace and struggling now.
Yeah, tough break for Keegan Thompson, continuing the struggle. He was all the way up to third at one point in this race, and now he's well outside the top 15 and lost 5 spots in one corner. Thompson still out front. Sarah Taylor now up to second. Great run for her there in that number 3 machine. You got Roberto Crown Jr., Caleb Rose, Bradley Bradshaw in the 5th. Here comes Nicholas Samedeo to the inside of his teammate Hallie Anderson Jr. And you mentioned it, Matt, Andrew Miller moving his way through the field very well here today for Evans Ross Racing, a team that completely failed to qualify outright last year. They've definitely found their speed with Andrew Miller, who comes into this race the points leader in the series. And of course, if he were to win here today, he'd be the points leader exiting this race. But Avery Alford going to get a shot here on the 93 machine, and that gets a little close right there off the exit of the corner. That's been a trouble spot in past years with accidents that have happened in this race, though we have not had an official accident in this race since 2023. So we'll just have to see if that streak stays alive. But Max Anderson trying to break the streak of no top 10s in this race. And he is currently leading this field right now in the number 97 with Sarah Taylor, Roberto Crown Jr. down the 3rd, Caleb Rose and Bradley Bradshaw the top 5.
Yeah, and talk about these Indy 250 only drivers doing a really good job representing in this top 10 here. But it looks like this number 3 of Sarah Taylor, she's sniffing for the lead, guys. Well, as I say that, she drops off a bit, but man, she was right on the gearbox of that 97 there, and now the 50 is going to go for a move on her. Roberto Crown Jr. into turn number 1, and they'll be side by side through 1, and it looks like he's going to clear. Yeah. Oh, and it looks like there was nearly contact.
Yeah, that 3 just struggled there through the corner, but so did Bradshaw. And it's Anderson just watching this all as he's pulling away here. Samedio's really entering the fray now. That 33 looks really good here. And I would be very excited if I was Andrew Miller's team, because the long run pace here is something you're going to need, especially if this race goes green all the way here. So keep your eyes out here for that 93 of Andrew Miller. Keep your eye out as well for the 57 of Hallie Anderson Jr. I mean, that team, or Hallie Anderson Jr., their team knows how to win on super speedways, so lots of interesting storylines at play here. We're over a quarter of the way home here in a wicked fast race so far that is definitely heating up in action.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Even though we've only seen the 1 lead change so far, it has been a very competitive race throughout the field. And we've definitely seen some guys come and some guys go throughout this event. Nicholas Samedeo lost a couple spots there as Andrew Miller continues to make the charge through the field, up to 7th now in that 93 for Evans Ross Racing. The top 3 have pulled away. Max Anderson, Roberto Crown Jr., and the 3 machine of Sarah Taylor for the 4th position. Caleb Rose got a nose to the inside of Bradley Bradshaw, and here comes Luna Lona as well. 2023 champion of the series, winner of the pole in the Indy 250 a year ago. And I think Roberto Crown Jr. might have a shot at taking this lead back away from Max Anderson, right back to the gearbox of the 97 here on lap 28. Probably about 10 laps away from when we will get to our first cycle of pit stops in this event, and that's always such a crucial point of the Indianapolis 250 each and every year. But I tell you, 2 guys who are looking very strong are both Andrew Miller and Nicholas Samedeo, And a little fun fact, the first year we had a co-commentator, it was Andrew who called this race in 2018 with me. It was won by Nicholas Amadeo, but Brian Webb looking to join this mix as well. Thomas Troxel not too far off either. We also got Eric Monaco there in the mix as well. Max Davis is here. Allie Anderson Jr. fell back a little bit. Keegan Thompson has fallen back to 16th. Lewis Bishop, Ludovic Charette, Braden Perez, and Aaron Abel at the top 20. There's Trey Wright, Logan Williams, Brendan Wilmington, defending winner, still back in 23rd. Trey Wright, or Tanner Parton, excuse me, in the 27 behind him. John Andrews, Charlie Davenport, Bruno Diacomo, Zachary Fitzwater, Justin Zidell, Jay Knapp, Marcus Glitch, Angel Oliveira, and Dylan Matthews still in the last position. Max Anderson still in the lead of this race here in the Indianapolis 250, and the top three have a second on the field right now.
Yeah, and you got to wonder how much Roberto Crown Jr. is saving fuel right now after leading so many laps at the beginning. When you're leading, obviously you're burning more fuel because you don't have that advantage in the draft. So I wonder if that's what he's doing, if he's just going to settle into second place. But, man, this top three, you could put a blanket over them. They're so close. But there's nobody to be seen for, you know, a good, a good mile behind them.
Yeah, but Rose and Lona are working together here. And they're definitely starting to drop Avery Alford. They're kind of losing touch with the rest of this pack, but this is where I think you're going to need the strategy to come into play, because you can definitely see by how fast Keegan Thompson dropped off and a couple other cars. I think you can catch back up here, but you are going to need a good pit in, pit out, and let's not forget here. Let's not forget 220 miles an hour down to the 60 mile an hour pit road speed here, coming off the exit of turn number 4. You know, we talk about trickiest pit roads on the channel to enter and exit, and I think this has to go up there as one of the trickiest because of how fast they are going here, as Miller and San Medeo are working together now, trying to chase down Avery Alford ahead of them. And Luna Lona's going to get around Caleb Rose, so Blaine Keys, I gotta give a shout out to Blaine Keys here. That team has brought some very fast cars here today.
No doubt about it. They're looking strong with Roberto Crown Jr. and Luna Lona as well. It's going to open the door for Alford, Andrew Miller, Nicholas Amadeo. They seem to be stuck with each other right here, which I think is a good thing. If you're Andrew Miller, you want to win this race, you want a guy who's won it twice behind you, helping you out right there. And they've both been top 10 for a considerable amount of time up to this point. And you touched on him at the pit lane entry is difficult, especially in real life, but knock on wood, this is one of those racetracks where we tend to not have issues with these guys wrecking on the cycle. So hopefully that maintains itself here today in just a few laps, and we can get through the first cycle of green flag pit stops without a caution flag and keep it green flag pit stops. It has been a clean race, all 33 drivers within 5.5 seconds of each other still here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's difficult to work your way through the field, but some guys are better able to do it than others. Bradley Bradshaw now slipping back. He's now outside the top 10 in the 9 machine as they continue to move Nicholas Amadeo to the inside of Andrew Miller. And Brian Webb here in the 12 machine right there with them, almost looking 3 wide. That is something you do not want to do here at Indy, because that is a surefire way to wreck out of the race. And the top 3, they have worked together to put a 2-second gap on 4th place Luna Lona. And these 3 are trying to make it so that they're the only 3 who have a shot at winning this race as it moves along. With Max Anderson still pacing this field here at Indy, Roberto Crown Jr., Sarah Taylor in line, Luna Lona, Caleb Rose, Avery Alford, Nicholas Amadeo, Brian Webb, Thomas Troxel has joined the top 10 as now Andrew Miller gets shuffled at a line and slips back in the 93.
Yeah, and we'll see if Miller's able to maintain his ground on the high side. Looks like, not quite through turn number 1. He'll lose another spot, but as we got side by side just behind him. And, you know, to your point, you know, we got pit stops here coming up in the next 5 or so laps, so I'm wondering, you know, how are these guys going to shuffle? I mean, they're not all going to pit at the same time, right? So we'll have to see who pops out of line first and who makes the first move when it comes to pit stops.
Yeah, it's going to be soon. I mean, we'll probably start seeing some guys come in around lap 37 and then start to see that cycle move on. Sarah Taylor's made a move on Roberto Crown Jr. They've put a gap on the 50 machine And now that outside lane has no grip at all. These guys have to slip back if they're up on that outside lane because the tires have worn out at this point, and they cannot get that outside lane to work to their advantage the way that they once hoped. So Avery Alford back up to 4th. Caleb Rose is 5th. Luna Lona in hot pursuit by Brian Webb in the 12 machine. First ever run in this race for Brian Webb. He's been around on the channel for a long time. And same with Keegan Thompson, both making their first ever starts in the Indy 250 here today. Both running, or have run, at least in the top 10 for considerable lengths today. Though Thompson did fall back there a little bit earlier on, and he's still mired midway through the field. But I gotta tell you, Matt, this 97 to Max Anderson, he is lights out right now with the team that won this race a year ago. You're Max Anderson, Nathan Stapleton. You got to be feeling pretty good about yourself right now here, 37 laps in to this Indy 250.
You do, but you don't want to count your horses and get too far ahead of yourself this early in the going. You know, you're kind of looking at where this is panning out right now. Speak of the devil, here we go. The 3 machinist Sarah Taylor is going to start the cycle. Avery Alford, that's a good call by Alford's team, and Bradshaw, some mid-pack runners or some drivers back half of the top 10 in the top half of the teens jumping down pit road here. And if Alford and Bradshaw then could get kind of together here on the pit exit, they might have a shot to maybe make up a second or so on the top 2, top 3 leaders of this race. So this is a huge stop. You're going to have another one in this race without a yellow. So this is one of the most important parts of this race that can cost you if you fumble it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And Avery Alford, Bradley Bradshaw, got to be careful. It's going to be a 4-tire stop for all these guys, of course. And of course, you know, for those Indy purists, and I'm one myself, this is still a NASCAR simulator, so it is a 2-4 tire kind of a deal. But I think all these stops are going to be 4 tires here today, as Max Anderson relinquishes the lead to Thomas Troxel, who's now out front here in Indianapolis. Of course, who can forget Troxel's runner-up to Nicholas Samedeo in 2020? What a race that was, and it's ironically those 2 guys who are now 1-2 in this race. Well, actually, it's now Nicholas Samedeo who's leading this race here at Indianapolis, and these guys got to be careful, as most of these guys are going to be coming down the pit lane here very shortly. But back to Max Anderson, Roberto Crown Jr., they're going to come down the pit lane here for their stops, and we'll have to see how well these stops are. Number 50 of Roberto Crown Jr. also going 4 tires. Max Anderson is done with his stop. He's coming off the pit lane here. You see the rest of the guys in the far corner of your screen there, and Anderson will beat the 50 machine. Where will Sarah Taylor and Avery Alford fall in play here? They're coming through here very soon. There's the 3 machine of Sarah Taylor. And Murray, will the undercut be an advantage, or will, if this race ends up staying green, play in the favor of an overcut, because those tires are going to mean a lot? It looks like Max Anderson's still going to come out ahead of Sarah Taylor here through this cycle.
Yeah, and I don't know if the undercut this year is the way to go. You know, you can see the 97 still with the race lead, as everyone seems to have had some clean pit stops, though. No trouble so far, but yeah, we got some people coming off the pit lane. I was really curious to see how that battle for the lead was going to cycle out, but Sarah Taylor doing a good job to get second.
And they'll easily surpass Samedeo here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the undercut was the way to go.
Well, it worked out for Sarah Taylor, all right. I don't know, Matt, how do you think it's going to play out?
The overcut didn't really work. It's kind of weird, like running the Max Anderson strategy seemed to work out the best so far. Bradshaw seems like he's a decent gainer. Running through the rest of the top 10, I do see Ladovic Charette up here. I do see Brayden Perez, who started 26th on the grid. So you talk about big movers in this race. And he is working his way here through this field.
Here we go.
But here we go. Here we go for the lead of the race. Once again, it's the 3, it's the 97. They're about to try and swap positions around. Anderson shuts the door, though, as he looks very strong here heading down the back.
You know, and it's fascinating, in the Fast and Night shootout, Max Anderson is one of the slowest guys and actually had pretty rough outing on Sunday, all things considered. And maybe he was saving some speed for the race, because he has absolutely been one of the fastest cars here in this one. And these top 3 now have 3 seconds on the rest of the field here. But if they continue the battle like this, this could bring these guys in. And I have a feeling the guys like Samedeo and some of these guys that came down 2 laps after Sarah Taylor. Once we get down to the end of this run, which is going to be around lap 76 up to lap 80, they're going to have an advantage. That's going to be near the end of the race, so I'm intrigued to see if that ends up playing out for him. But the top 3 have clear out and ahead, have the pace of this field right now. Sarah Taylor, Max Anderson, Roberto Crown Jr., the 3 fastest guys in Indy right now. But here comes Max Anderson once again trying to take it back away from Sarah Taylor. If they keep on swapping, Alford, Brian Webb, Luna Lona, Bradley Bradshaw, Ladovic Charette, Braden Perez, Sam Medeo, Max Davis, all trying to get in the line right here, trying to have an opportunity at this race lead here as this race progresses.
Yeah, and I'm looking at this gap between 3rd and 4th, and it's honestly, it looks like it's staying about the same. So, you know, with these guys going single file, they're, you know, that's what you want to do. As I say that, though, it looks like the 50 is going to duck out of line. So we'll see if Roberto can get that spot going into 3. And they'll stay side by side through the short chute and move Roberto Crown Jr. up to 2nd place. So, you know, we'll see what the gap is at the line. But I don't know. Yeah. And it looks like they gained time.
They just keep pulling away here, which is quite impressive. You know, we've kind of seen over, you know, you can pull away more here at Indy in a smaller pack, almost larger, because a lot of times these smaller packs just won't pass as much. But they're just, I mean, they're trying everything here to catch up. Brian Webb looks really strong. Avery Alford, Luna, Bradley Bradshaw, they have the cars here to do it. They're just going to need to lock in and stay in flying formation if they want a chance here. Brandon Wilmington, working his way through the field, hasn't played a factor yet, but we still have a long way to go here. And I mean, you never know. You can get a caution. Somebody could stop on the racetrack, crash in turn 3. There's still a lot of ways that this race could get shaken up, and this whole field gets bunched back together.
Yeah, of course, we saw a late race restart a year ago in this Indy 250, which gave way to Brandon Wilmington going to victory lane. And I'm impressed with Wilmington and Fitzwater. Zachary Fitzwater was mired in the back of the field. He's now up to the 15th position. Actually, he's a little bit higher now. He got around Max Davis and Brandon Wilmington right there. An excellent pit stop there at Dog Pound Incorporated. Those 2 guys, they found a lot out with Sarah Taylor's Aaron Abel in the 18. It might be our first mechanical failure of the day.
Uh-oh.
No caution for what occurred, but that is a tough break for Aaron Abel in the 18 machine, and a tire down on the 18. Not even halfway through this Indianapolis 250. And guys, 2.8 seconds now for Brian Webb. I think as this run goes along, they're going to close in, and we're going to have a lot of guys very much in contention for this race near the end. But we'll see if that ends up being the case. See what that difference is this time around. Brian Webb across the line. 2.89. Still about the same right there. But Sarah Taylor still leading this field. One of 3 different leaders so far here today in this 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. Roberto Crown Jr., Max Anderson, all 3 of these drivers have led. They're the only 3 who have led laps so far here today. On for the race lead once again. Roberto Crown Jr. looking to take it back away after they lost it on lap 20.
And they'll remain side by side through 3 and 4. Careful not to touch. Doesn't look like Roberto has the run off the corner, though, so keeps Sarah Taylor out front for the time being. And we'll see what the gap is to 4th as they cross the finish line.
Oh, boy.
Those 3/10 that lap. So, yeah, these guys are definitely catching. We might see some more people in contention here before we know it.
And I mean, to note, you know, the reason the top 3 took off after the pit stop, they kind of had a buffer built. They're going to erase that buffer very, very quickly. And if they erase that buffer very, very quickly, that next round of pit stops could look very different on the outcome than it did this time around. Crown Jr. for the lead. Anderson's going to follow through on the toe. And I don't see a whole lot of jostling at the moment in that second pack. They actually look like they finally got the memo. Here we go this time by.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my goodness.
Half
Here we
a second.
go. Keep racing at the front, guys. This is going to get fun.
Brian Webb, Avery Alford, Luna Lona, Bradley Bradshaw, Ludovic Charette, Braden Perez, Nicholas Samedillo. I feel like all these guys, at least at this point in the race, have a very legitimate chance of winning. Zachary Fitzwater is now leading this pack in 11th. Started 32nd, ran in the back. Pretty much the majority of the first part of this race is now leading this pack, only 6.5 seconds off. He still very much has an opportunity at this if things play out a certain way. Marcus Glitch as well was another guy mired in the back. Here he is in 12th. Brendan Wilmington, Max Davis, Caleb Rose, Andrew Miller, Eric Monaco, Thomas Troxel, Hallie Anderson Jr., John Andrews, Jay Knapp, and Lewis Bishop all in that line. You got Charlie Davenport, Brad Stover, Bruno Diacomo, Trey Wright a little bit further back. Aaron Abel's going to get back out there. Keegan Thompson has really fallen off all the way down to 27th. Tanner Parton, Justin Zidell, Angel Oliveira, Dylan Matthews, and Logan Williams. I don't know what happened to him, but he's at the back of the field right now at 83. I knew you'd not want to see that, Matt, as the team owner. And once again, for the race lead, Sarah Taylor back on Roberto Crown Jr. trying to get him. It's within 2 seconds now for Brian Webb and Avery Alford. And they're starting to chip away again. They gained a lot of time, but if they get to the toe of this 97, then it's on. And keep in mind, we still got a long ways left to go until we get to the second cycle. We're past halfway here in the 2026 Indianapolis 250. It's been a quick race so far. This race has gone caution-free before. Murray, how you liking these three guys up front right now? They seem to be the strongest drivers in this race.
Oh, they're the strongest drivers for sure, but they're doing a two-car tango for the lead here. These three cars are just so fast, but if they keep fighting like this, like you guys have been saying, we're going to have a battle on our hands as here comes Anderson back for third. And how about this 28 car? Avery Alford was up in the top 5 earlier, got shuffled back when Keegan Thompson had that problem, got stuck behind him, was outside the top 10, and now here he is back in 5th place. That car is mighty fast today.
No doubt about it. And Nicholas Samedillo closing up to the back of this pack as well. These guys have everything in their best interest to stay in a line, to be able to close up to these guys. And the fact that Anderson and Roberto battled quite a bit right there, that's going to allow Brian Webb to get a little bit closer to the back. So it may not necessarily be for the lead now, which they still gain about 0.3 of a second right there. But they're going to very much be in contention as this race goes along. Matt, we've seen so many of these Indy 250 only drivers run well in this race. How about another one? Max Davis here in the 60 for BO Racing, Bernardo Oliveira. Now these guys trying to get in the line and close in on the top 11, or the top 10, I should say, of this race. But I think we're soon to have a pretty big pack for this race lead here in just a few laps' time.
Yeah, we're going to be in a very, Sarah Taylor's kind of pulling a little bit here now. We'll see at the line if this top 3 really opened it back up. They did kind of open it back up a little bit there. 2.5 tenths is not insignificant. As here comes Alfred Bradshaw's going to put the squeeze on Brian Webb. Now Webb's going to get passed by Charette and Lona, and here comes Perez and Samedillo. That was not a good sequence there for Brian Webb in that number 12 machine as he's heading the wrong direction. Avery Alford, Ludovic Charette, I think we were talking about it earlier in the race, looking really strong here as this race goes on. And Evans Ross Racing, could you imagine the storyline that would be if Evans Ross Racing, after last year not putting a car in the event, if Ludovic Charette in the Indy 250 only car somehow managed to pull off a victory here today?
That would be impressive. But it's Ludovic Charette. We know how impressive of a driver she is, so I wouldn't be too surprised. A top 3 have actually pulled away. All that battling slowed that second pack down. Alford just pulled right away from everybody else. And now Brian Webb's at the back of this pack right now and trying to get some more positions. And the tires are starting to go bad again on these guys. This is about that merge point where the tires start to give way and the outside lane does not have that advantage. Now Luna Lona trying to make a spot here on Ludovic Charette. That is for the 5th position. Actually, sorry, that is for the 5th position right there. Bradley Bradshaw slipped back in the 9 machine, getting passed by Nicholas Samedillo, who's still trying to work his way through the field here. Now 2.5 seconds. Those guys, they should not have done that. That was such a bad mistake out of those drivers to race like that, because they were closing in on the top 3, And now they've given Sarah Taylor, Max Anderson, and Roberto Grau Jr. a little bit more breathing room as this race continues on.
Yeah, they've opened it up over a second as Taylor went a bit wide there. I thought Anderson might take a look for the lead, but it doesn't quite look like that's going to happen. But yeah, these three are just so hard to beat at the moment. We'll see how this next cycle of pit stops affects things. You never know. I mean, we've seen weirder. You know, these three could get cycled back somehow. You know, we could have a race leader, you know, have an issue. We've seen weird things happen in this race, so it's certainly not over yet with this top three being pulled away.
No, it's not over yet. I mean, you could see somebody drop a motor, stop on track. They could wreck. The way they're racing, they definitely could wreck each other if they're not careful here. Anything could still happen here, and all it takes is one mistake, and this whole field gets bunched back up. I know it's not the historical trend, but you never know. The historical trend here in Indy is anything can also happen here, as they keep pulling away from fourth place Avery Alford. And if we're only about 20 laps away from the next round of pit stops, that's a huge gap here for Alfred, Charette, and company to have to work down in not a long period of time here. And I think Zachary Fitzwater is actually starting to really reel in this second pack here, or the first pack here. You can see on track they look closer. Andrew Miller to the inside of Rose. That's going to be a big momentum pack going if Zachary Fitzwater can tow them back up to the first pack.
We'll have to see if that ends up being the case for Fitzy, but I feel like he's got a strong enough car, similar to what we saw out of Brendan Wilmington a year ago. And Brendan Wilmington kind of came out of nowhere near the end of that one. Roberto Crown Jr. the inside of Max Anderson. And, of course, this right here is what Sarah Taylor actually doesn't want to see. She doesn't want those guys to fall too far back, because that could bring this pack back in. As Ludovic Charette's now up to the fourth position. And, guys, Ludovic and Fitzy leading these packs now. Those are two guys, if they can get cycled up front close enough, they're going to have a very good opportunity at winning this race. We'll have to see if that ends up being the case, but feeling pretty good about the speed of those cars at this point in the event. But, you know, we haven't talked enough about Sarah Taylor yet in this race. You know, she's leading this field right now, her second Indy 250, and actually, sorry, her third Indy 250. Best finish of fifth in 2023. When Angel Gutierrez won this race in this ride. These guys know how to do it at Dog Pound Incorporated. They've done it before, and they're looking to do it again. But Roberto Crown Jr., I feel like, still has one of the strongest cars in the field for BK Industries right here. And Roberto trying to get it on the three machine for this race lead here on lap number 60. We have 40 laps to go, well past halfway in this Indianapolis 250. And I still say that anyone top 10 has a very good chance of winning this race. Fitzwater, Max Anderson, and these guys are now within 6 seconds. So if they play the strategy correctly on the pit lane, have a good enough stop in the race, or in the pit lane for their last stop, I should say, they could very well find themselves up front once it all cycles through. For the race lead, Roberto Crown Jr. trying to take it here on Sarah Taylor. Not able to get the inside in turn 4. And Taylor going to remain out front here on lap number 61.
Yeah, but Crown Jr. does look fast. Being the pole sitter and you know, being in this top three pretty much the whole race is mighty impressive. And, you know, I think he might be hopped up on some Bang energy right now, because he is sniffing down that gearbox of Sarah Taylor. So we'll have to see if he can give it another shot for the lead here.
Who crashed coming off of the pit? I just noticed that. That's some huge tire marks coming off of the pit lane there. I'm not sure who would have been involved in that, unless that was Aaron Abel who spun out and had some go on. But Ludovic Charette's bringing that gap back down here. It was up to about 3.2 seconds. It's down to 2.72 seconds, and just looking at what my eyes are telling me on the TV screen, 2.72 seconds.
Yeah.
It's climbs back up here. I mean, it ebbs and flows, but I think you have the right driver in front of that pack to chase down these top three, but they're just going to keep running away from this here. Without a caution, it is going to be hard to catch back up to them here, because they have been able to fly in such good formation here today.
Well, I think the strategy they want to do, as for the race lead, and this will be a change. Roberto Crown Jr. to the inside of Sarah Taylor. Going to bring Max Anderson with him. Trying to get that inside lane to work. Max Anderson does not want an Indy 250 only guy to win this thing, as Luna Lona has gotten around Charette. And here comes Brain Perez. Kind of out of nowhere, bringing San Mateo with him on the inside lane. And we'll see if they gain any time here. They will not. Anderson will take second away from Sarah Taylor. And Taylor might have just worn the tires out from the race lead a bit too much, and our pole sitter back out front. Those tire marks, I would imagine, would have something to do with Aaron Abel, who's the only car multiple laps down in this race. But we also have John Anders, who's significantly off the pace, 28 seconds off the race lead. So, Chris, remember what happened to him last year when he was leading this race late in the going and blew a tire from the race lead. And he is continuing to struggle here in Indianapolis as Max Anderson looking on Roberto Crown Jr. once again, unable to get to the inside of him right there. We'll see, do these guys close up at all? It's now Brain Perez leading this pack right here with Nicholas San Mateo, Luna Lona, and Brian Webb has moved his way back up front.
Yeah, this gaggle of cars, the more they stay single file, as I say that, we got someone hopping out of line. Looks like they'll go side by side into turn 3. But, man, you really want to stay single file if you're going to have any chance to catch the leaders. And they're just not doing that right now, are they?
No, I mean, they're kind of punting on a chance to win here without a yellow because they just will not stay in line. They cannot stay in formation long enough to take meaningful time out of that lead. It just keeps going up and up here, and we're going to get around to pit stops, and unless something happens to these top 3 on pit road, they're going to have a bigger gap most likely at the end of these stops than when the stop started. And Zachary Fitzwater, again, case in point, look at that second pack. They just keep reeling them in. It's 5 seconds now is the gap to the leader. I would be more interested to see if Fitzy could get through this pack. He's got the time at the pace he's moving with a round of pit stops. I'm interested to see if this pack of cars could get back up there and really challenge for the lead, as somebody in that blue machine just stepped way out of line there, kind of off the pace there. But this is 10 laps or so from the next pit stop, and it's getting very dicey here once again.
And these guys, these pit crews are thinking, what are we going to do here on our next cycle? Because it's going to be the money stop, and we are within the point where we can make it from now to the end. So this will not be a fuel mileage race here this year in the Indianapolis 250. But this last pit stop is going to determine who wins this race. Nicholas San Mateo, keep in mind, came down 2 laps later than Sarah Taylor did. So those tires are 2 laps fresher. And I think that's part of the reason why he's gotten to the lead of this pack right here. So he's going to try to chip away at the top 3. Zachary Fitzwater may have also been one of those guys who did that strategy. It didn't quite get a look and see what he did, but he's now within 5 seconds of the race lead. And you can easily make that time up on pit lane, especially if one of the top 3 has an issue on the pit lane, which, you know, we saw a couple guys, Logan Williams struggling on the pit lane earlier, and a lot of these guys in the back of the field essentially out of it. Keegan Thompson was up front earlier on. He's fallen back in the 01 machine. It's all going to come down to this cycle of pit stops. And, you know, there is still the big variable of, do we get a yellow in this race? It has a very green flag feel to it right now, but there's still a very good chance we could end up with a yellow flag at some point. You never know when a mechanical failure might happen. We saw a mechanical failure out of Thomas Troxel yesterday in carb day practice. We've already seen the tire go down here. It's not particularly a track that's known for a lot of mechanical failures, but it can happen. And it can happen to anyone. It happened to the race leader a year ago. So, Murray, it's not over yet. But I'll tell you what, these guys are going to have a super line charging up towards this top 3, because now everybody's in a line trying to close up to the top 3. And we'll have to see if that's enough for them to chunk away some of this time before the cycle of pit stops.
Yeah, we're going to need to pay close attention to this battle here, because Fitzwater leading that line back there. I mean, they have caught the heck up to this pack, and it's been really entertaining to watch. I know the top 3's kind of far away, but if we get the right person in front, I have a feeling someone might be able to chase them down. And we're hopefully going to see a lot of battling for position here when these 2 lines finally meet.
Yeah, and I think you want Charette, San Mateo, Fitzwater, and Davis leading the pack. Fitzy and Davis are putting in some unbelievable work. I mean, that's over 3 seconds they've just driven to the back of this lead pack, and now it's just one long train of cars, and they're doing everything they can to catch the top 3 on pace. It's not working so far, because you do kind of go faster here at Indianapolis in a smaller pack than in a big one. It's a reverse of the super speedways, but if you can stay in line and say they can start dicing it up, anything can happen here. You're going to need some pit strategy. Those tires, the extra 2 laps on the tires isn't really helping San Medeo that much. Oh, no, it's not helping him right now because he's getting jumped to the inside by Ludovic Charette and Brian Webb.
And Ludovic Charette, Brian Webb almost got into him right there. San Medeo's only going to lose 1 spot out of all that, but that's going to slow him down again. And they got to bank on the pit stops, and they got to bank on pulling some strategy. And I would almost suggest doing an undercut, trying to get some clean track and get some fresher tires and really just try to go for it on those 2 laps. But San Medeo trying to get back to the inside here, Ludovic Charette, and he will do so. You know, for Nicholas, he has not had a good season in the Wall Cup Series at all. But he's got an opportunity here at making history, and he is very much in contention. Bradley Bradshaw is back up here again as well. Multi-time runner-up to this race. But can anyone get to the top 3? Roberto Crown Jr., Sarah Taylor, Max Anderson have been the dominant forces of this race. No one has been able to get to them. They're the only 3 drivers who have led laps. They're going to pass here for second as Anderson moves to the inside of Sarah Taylor for position. That's going to slow the back of that pack down, but these guys are now falling about 4 seconds off the race lead as they continue the shuffle, and San Medeo wants to be the leader of this main pack here, trying to charge to the top 3.
Yeah, and it is just a scrap back here from 4th on back. Everybody wants to be the leader of this pack. As we head into pit stops, too, I wonder who's going to make the first jump to pit road. You know, we've got, we're on lap 73, going into 74 of 100. So, you know, looking at pretty soon making that final stop, and you're going to want to get the strategy right.
You're going to want the strategy right. I mean, I think you're going to want a couple cars down pit road, not a whole pack. You really probably want 2-3 cars with you going down pit road, hopefully close together. And if you could get out into some open track, we're seeing how much faster the top 3 can run, even racing each other, than half of the field in a pack. So I think if you're some of these guys, you got to figure. I mean, I'm looking at Perez, Charette, Bradshaw. That would be a great trio to just jump down pit road right now. You know, get the tires on, get the fuel back in the car, and then try and just run all-out burners to catch up to the leaders. Fitzy and Davis caught the pack and are starting to work their way through, which is something to keep an eye on as well. But laps are ticking down here, and you don't have 75 laps now to make up that 4 seconds. You only have 25 laps when we come back around here to make up that gap, and that is not an easy gap to make up in 25 laps here at Indianapolis.
No doubt about it. They're going to have to hope for that pit stop to be one of the best pit stops they've ever had, because I don't know if anyone's going to be able to get to the top 3 at this point. A 4-second advantage, that's going to be a huge advantage coming down the pit lane for them, but we're just going to have to see. Will these top 3 battle so much that they stay in line behind them and close up? I mean, we thought that was going to happen earlier on when Brian Webb was closing in, when they were within 2 seconds at one point. Sarah Taylor back to the inside for second on Max Anderson. And Nicholas San Medeo was trying to get ever so closer, but we're going to start seeing some of these guys come down the pit lane. And actually, we already got someone down the pit lane. Avery Alford in the 28. The only one down right here, so we'll see how that strategy ends up working out for him. But this second stop, oh my goodness, that was close. Between Brian Webb and Nicholas San Medeo. This second stop always spreads out a lot more. Sarah Taylor was one of the first ones to come down in the first cycle. She's down the pit lane now. Will anybody else come down? It's just Sarah Taylor. So this cycle is going to spread out, and that's going to make things ever so more interesting as this cycle goes along. And now Roberto and Max Anderson, they don't have a line to help them out here. Brian Webb, Ludovic Charette, Braden Perez are still in a line, trying to gain as much time as they can on those top 2 before they come down the pit lane.
Yeah, and the fact that this top 3 is broken up could play a factor in who is leading, or at least the gap between 3rd and 4th after this round of pit stops, because they're not together anymore. The leader, Roberto Crown Jr., has about a second lead, and they're both coming into the pits. The leaders are, and everybody looks like is coming with them, or at least most of the pack.
So Roberto Crown Jr., Max Anderson, Brian Webb, Ludovic Charette, San Mateo stayed out. Fitzwater's down with these guys. This is the main group of drivers coming down the pit lane here for their second and final stop of the Indianapolis 250. So Roberto Crown Jr. coming down the pit lane as leader. You can gain a lot of time on the pit lane to these guys, and you see where Brian Webb is compared to Max Anderson. May have gained some time on the entry right there. We'll have to see if he ended up doing so once this all cycles through. Going to be a 4-tire stop for these drivers, Roberto Crown Jr. and Max Anderson. You see the 97 already to the right sides. Of course, he got to the pit lane a little bit faster than Roberto did, so we'll see if he ends up getting an advantage. He's going to come off the pit lane right here. Roberto Crown Jr. is going to come off. Clean stops for both drivers. So where will they come out in relation here to Sarah Taylor? That's the driver that came down just a few moments ago. I think that's her right there in the 3 machine, trying to come around to take the race lead away, or what will provisionally be the race lead once everything cycles through. But Roberto's going to have an advantage right here. There's Brian Webb. There's the 91. We still got some guys who have yet to come down the pit lane, like Justin Zeidel, like Tanner Parton. Eric Monaco currently leading the field. He's going to come down for his pit stop. Here comes Thomas Troxel. Here comes Brad Stover. And it will cycle to being the 50 machine of Roberto Crown Jr. Nicholas Sambidio is coming off the pit lane in the 33. He's the first off of those drivers. But Roberto Crown Jr. in the 50, already heading in the turn number 1, is going to have a clear lead here in the Indianapolis 250. So next time by, it is going to be 21 laps to go with Roberto Crown Jr., Sarah Taylor, Max Anderson. Nicholas Sambidio is going to end up being in the 4th position. Will he be able to join Brian Webb, Ladovic Stratton, and these guys? Fitzwater in this group with Avery Alford. Will they be able to get in a line and close up to the top 3, who are a little bit far away from each other right now? They've got an opportunity to really gain some time right here and find themselves closer to the front. I don't think it's fully cycled through quite yet. Eric Monaco still officially the race leader here in the Indianapolis 250. But Roberto Crown Jr. will easily surpass those drivers. Nicholas Sambidio leading this pack. He's going to have the fresher tires near the end of this race. As next time by is 20 laps to go in the Indianapolis 250. But, guys, that is such a huge gap they're going to have to make up if they're going to have any opportunity at winning this race.
Yeah, and you just don't know if they're going to do it. I've never seen a race play out like this where, I mean, the top 3 have been so tight on each other the whole day, and now they're separated. So, you know, you have a couple schools of thought. First school of thought is, if they were in that small pack and pulling away, was that benefiting them? I think it was. Now that they're split up, is that going to benefit this second pack? Well, not if this second pack continues to battle. So we'll have to see how this race plays out. But I think, you know, if I'm sitting in the top 3 right now, I have the best shot to win this race.
I don't know.
I mean, I just think, yeah. Sorry.
You go ahead, Matt, because I think you're going to say something way more interesting than I am.
No, I mean, I think it's over for the second pack without a caution. I mean, that's a ginormous gap to make up. I don't know. The real estate isn't there. It took Fitzy a whole tire run to make that gap up on the first pack last time around. So unless Sambidio comes across the line, oh, here we go again for the lead. Taylor to the inside of Crown Jr. I mean, he's moving the needle in the right direction, but you're going to need a lot more than 2/10 a lap if you want that needle to come down to have a shot to win this race under green flag running.
Yeah, Ladovic Charette now out front in this pack. Nicholas Sambidio couldn't hold on. Still getting those tires warmed up in that 33 machine. I'm impressed with Zachary Fitzwater, and this might be his final Indianapolis 250, retiring at the end of the year full-time competition. So I'm not sure if he's going to continue on in this race going forward, but what a great run for Fitzwater, who was the runner-up 4 years ago to Trey Smith that 1 year. And I think the big deciding factor in this is Max Anderson, who's trying to hang on to this pack here. If Max Anderson does not join these top 2 guys, I have a feeling that this pack's going to close in. Because even with all the passing that they're making, they're still in a line, they're still helping each other out. That's going to be faster than just 2 cars. But if Max Anderson can rejoin the top 2, and I think it's going to be one of those 3 to guarantee win this race. Roberto Crown Jr. trying almost spinning the 3 of Sarah Taylor out. How about both of these Indy 250 only drivers? Such an impressive race that they have had in this Indianapolis 250, and this has not been an easy race to win either. This has come down the speed. Roberto Crown Jr. has been one of the fastest cars all week long. Fastest in qualifying practice. Won the pole. And Roberto right there on the gearbox of Sarah Taylor up front. Ludovic Charette's got to be careful to kind of just pace this field here. 4.5 seconds now. They've gained half a second in just a few laps. Max Anderson is not gaining on the top two. And if we get another lead change right here, that's going to bring it even closer for that second pack to close back in. It may actually make it easier for Max Anderson, who may want to try to get to this pack here and be the leader of this pack to close up to the top two. But Crown Jr. back out front. 16 laps to go here in the Indianapolis 250.
Yeah, and I think that if you're Max Anderson, you are just praying that these top two keep switching spots, because go right ahead, Matt. What's on your mind?
Oh no, I mean it keeps coming down, Murray. That's another 3/10.
Yeah, they're catching. I just don't know if it's quick enough.
I don't know, but I mean they're gonna catch. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong here, they're going to get a huge toe off of Max Anderson if they can catch him here in the next few laps.
We'll see if they are able to do so. Once again for the race lead, Sarah Taylor back to the inside of Roberto Crown Jr. They both know that they have an opportunity of winning this race. And they don't want to give it up now, even if it means that this second pack's going to catch up. They're not concerned about that second pack, but they have closed up a second here. And if they get closer and closer to Max Anderson, we know Ludovic is going to have speed, and ultimately, Nicholas Samadillo is going to have speed because he's going to have the freshest tires near the end of this race. Fitzwater's in this, Brain Perez is in this as well. Perez just has to be, and Fitzwater, all these guys just have to be diligent and stay in a line. That's the only way they're going to make any of this work here in this race. This race is going to go caution-free unless we see what we saw last year. And 2/10 that time. They've been able to close in each and every lap. Roberto's starting to pull away from Sarah Taylor. And will Taylor fall in the clutches of Max Anderson? Max Anderson's not been able to close up, but these guys, if they stay in a line, they're going to have a chance. But time is running out. Next time by, 13 laps to go here in the Indianapolis 250. Ludovic Charette leading this second pack, this line of 4 cars, and what a line this is. Ludovic Charette, Brain Perez, Zachary Fitzwater, Nicholas Samadillo. You know it's a good line when Mr. Stelio Win is the least experienced guy, and the least, has the least amount of wins of all those guys, and it's now 3.6 seconds from these guys to the race lead. And Max Anderson has lost the top 2 as well. And now we got lap traffic coming in the way. It's John Andrews, who is the teammate there to Roberto Crown Jr. Guys, we're getting to the witching hour here in the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Indianapolis 250. Time is running out for these drivers, and I have a really good feeling that it might get very interesting at the end of this race.
Yeah, this could play out a multitude of ways, and we're just going to have to wait and see as, we'll see if Fourth on Back can catch any more this lap. They do quite a bit. And we'll see if this lap traffic plays a factor on the race lead. You'd hope if it's a teammate, if I'm the leader, that my teammate would let me by, but you never know. We've seen weirder. So, yeah, this second pack, though, is catching.
And I don't fully remember, because it's been a while since I ran a race at Indy, but when you get within about a second and a half of the car in front of you, you can start to... a solo car, you can catch a toe, and I think even though Perez has a run here on Charette, these three might be fast enough that if they had to switch up the order here, they might... Oh, is this going to be under 3? It's not enough time. It's not enough time. They need more than 2-3 a lap. Somebody needs to make a half a second gain, because 11 laps, or less than 11 laps to go here. Don't hold the teammate on.
This is still gonna slow him down right here. Roberto Crown Jr. makes a move on his teammate there. Almost went 3 wide. Sarah Taylor also gonna get around John Andrews as well. We'll see how easily the rest of these guys get around, and we got a pass right here. Fitzwater trying on Perez. Not gonna make that stick, and they kind of stay in the line, but that's gonna slow those guys down just a little bit. You can't be doing that. And I know Fitzwater wants to be the guy who catches up, because odds are the only shot they're gonna have is whoever's leading this pack. And right now that's Ludovic Charette in the 91. But they're now 2.9 seconds on the race leader of Roberto Crown Jr. They are going to have to get around John Anders in the 48. This could get very interesting as it's now 10 laps to go here in the Indianapolis 250. Roberto Crown Jr., the pole sitter. We have mentioned a pole sitter has never won this race before. Roberto Crown Jr. trying to do so for the first time ever for BK Industries. Blaine Key is looking to become an owner winner in the Indianapolis 250, the all-time winningest driver winner. He's got 9 laps to do it, and now they're double wide. And that's going to slow him down even more. 3.6 seconds. They just killed it right there.
Yeah, that pack led by Charette, well, not anymore led by Charette, but they lost over a second battling like that.
And I think this race now is going to be between Sarah Taylor and Roberto Crown Jr., unless we get a caution here late in the going.
And these two are having a heck of a battle. I mean, they have not let each other take a break as we got Taylor going for the lead through turn number 4. Down the front straight, if anyone has the phone number of the 97, they're just in a different zip code. I mean, this top 2 is just, they're just so far away. I think that if you're third on back, your day, unfortunately, is not going to work out.
No, it's just over for third on back unless some sort of magic 8-ball of chaos happens here in the next 7 laps, and I don't know if it will. Taylor and Crown Jr. have been lights out this entire race as they've dropped everybody else here. They have no lap cars in front of them here, and you're running out of corners here, and you're running, we've seen here over the course of this race, you're running out of corners here to potentially make a mistake to get that lead back if you lose it here. So any one of these passes now, we're in that window where it could be the last pass for the race win here, and you have to make every overtake count here if you're these top 2.
Roberto Crown Jr. trying to get to the gearbox of Sarah Taylor for this race win. And if you're Roberto Crown Jr., you've been one of the more dominant drivers. Both of these drivers have been dominant here today. It's a shame for Max Anderson, who kind of fell off there after the cycle. 1.8 seconds off. It's going to take these guys going side by side for a considerable amount of time in order for him to have any opportunity. Brain Perez is now up to 4th with Fitzwater and Avery Alford. And Anderson continues to slip back. It's 6 laps to go here in the Indianapolis 250. And we're still going to have a good finish regardless because Roberto Crown Jr. is right there on Sarah Taylor, waiting to make the move for this race lead and possible race victory. And there they go to the inside for the race lead. Side by side, couldn't quite hold the inside in turn 4. Had to check it up on the inside in turn 4. Now 5 laps to go for Sarah Taylor and Dog Pound Incorporated here in the Indianapolis 250.
Yeah, and you know what? That was a significant amount of time that Roberto Crown Jr. just lost to the race leader. I think he's only got one more shot, maybe 1 or 2 more shots to, make another pass, another run for the race lead, because he went from a 10th back to 3.5 tenths back. And so if I'm Sarah Taylor, I'm just hoping that 4 laps is not enough time for him to catch back up to me. But it looks like he's reeling her back in. We're going to have a good finish on our hands here, guys.
Yeah, we're going to have a great finish. I mean, maybe warm up the photo finish cameras. I don't know, but we're in that window now. If the flags do fly before the race ends, it's over. So any one of these overtakes could be the last overtake. Just incredible performance from these top 2 today. I mean, one guy, got to shout out Zachary Fitzwater. If this is his last start, talk about some heroic effort to try and drive your way back into this field from not having a great quali to ending up here in the top 10 in a green flag race is unbelievable work here. But here we go again, and it's 3 to go at the stripe. The 50 just isn't quite there, but 7.5 miles to go here at Indianapolis.
3 laps to go, and for the lead! There goes Roberto Crown Jr. to the inside of Sarah Taylor. Taylor with a huge head of steam into the corner. How about that for the 3? And I think we got one more chance left for Roberto Crown Jr. to get this win. Max Anderson has fallen into the clutches of the rest of the pack. They've all gotten around John Anders, but They're not going to close up a lap on these guys unless they wreck each other out. But it's going to be 2 laps to go next time by here in the Indianapolis 250 for Sarah Taylor. But Roberto Crown Jr. trying to do all they can to get this race victory. For the longest time, they could never get a win on the channel. They finally got one in Indy Lights a year ago. What a win this would be for them. They're going to try it again. Back into turn 1 for the race lead with 2 laps to go. And this time, Roberto's got it on Sarah Taylor.
And that was exactly what Roberto Crown Jr. needed to do. Now, Sarah Taylor is going to have a lap and a half to get back to his gearbox and make the pass. Guys, I don't know if it's enough time.
That might have been the pass for the win. I don't know, Matt. How do you think it's going to play out? Roberto Crown Jr. is going to be 1 lap away from an Indianapolis 250 race victory from the pole position. Coming around turn number 4, 1 lap to go, and another caution-free Indianapolis 250. Roberto Crown Jr. has 1 lap to go to get an owner win for Blaine Keys and a race win for themselves. We'll see if they have enough on the 3 of Sarah Taylor. It is a quarter-second lead for Roberto Crown Jr., the dominant driver of the day, the fastest driver in qualifying practice, and the pole winner. What an absolute stunning performance out of this driver and this team here today. And Roberto Crown Jr. in the number 50. I think they're going to get it. It's never happened before where a pole sitter has won the Indianapolis 250, but today history's going to be made. Roberto Crown Jr. is the winner of the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250.
That was just sheer dominance out of Roberto and the number 50 up front the entire day, bringing it home from the pole. What a drive.
Yeah, that was a very impressive run. All Indy 250 week long here for that 50 team. And you got to give a shout to them, you know, to pull up to the Indy 250 here and put on an absolute doozy and an absolute rocket ship of a car. You know, we were kind of talking the way the ratings played out. You know, we know the regulars obviously have the advantage, but there was something in that, you know, in there that the Indy 250 only folks could definitely find here to find themselves a ton of extra speed here just for only having one race to focus on. And I think that really came to fruition here today for Roberto Crown Jr. as they are back in victory lane here on the channel and easily the biggest winner, Roberto Crown Jr. In our life.
How about that for Roberto Crown Jr. and Blaine Keys? And I mean, it just worked out. It was just a perfect run for them. They did everything right, and it worked. And usually you do everything right here in Indianapolis, and it doesn't work. But Roberto Crown Jr., the winner of the 2026 Indianapolis 250, ahead of Sarah Taylor, Max Anderson, Braden Perez, Ludovic Charette, Zachary Fitzwater, Brian Webb, Avery Alford, Nicholas Samadio, and your son there, Murray, J. Knapp, getting the top 10. Hey, that's Max Anderson's first ever top 10 in this race. He was up there with those guys a majority of the run, but could not get it on the last pit stop. What a run for Zachary Fitzwater from 32nd starting position, finishing 6th. But guys, this was one of those Indy 250s that we saw where passing was very difficult and working your way through the field was incredibly difficult. But it was a hard-earned and very much well-deserved win out of Roberto Crown Jr. and BK Industries here today in the 2026 Indianapolis 250.
Yeah, and you know, shout out to Sarah Taylor and the Dog Pound crew, because all 3 of their cars came in the top 10. They definitely knew what they were doing today, and just a heartbreaker for Taylor there at the end to get past after leading so many laps. So just a great run all around from Taylor, but congrats again to Roberto. Great drive.
Yeah, it was a great drive from Roberto. Great performance from those top 2. Anderson, I thought he had a better. He had a more raceable car, I feel like, but he didn't quite have the long run pace there. I think you saw the 50 and the 3 really pulled away there. I gotta say, what a battle that would have been. That was between that second pack of cars: Charette, Fitzy, Brian Webb, Alfred Perez. They were putting on a show, and if they had caught him, that's a big what if that'll go down in history. But hats off to Roberto Crown Jr. Unbelievable performance here. To Roberto Crown Jr. starting to play knack for just upsetting in these huge events: Daytona, Indy 250. Hats off to Roberto Crown Jr. here and Blaine Keys Industries.
They did an excellent job. Just this all around. I mean, that's the most dominating performance that I've seen out of a team throughout practice and qualifying and into the race, and that played out a lot differently than we've seen in past years, but it's still just as amazing to see this event each and every year, and Roberto Crown Jr. is going to hold them off in a dominating performance here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but it still was not easy. Sarah Taylor did all she could to get her first Indy 250 win, couldn't quite get it. Max Anderson had such a strong car, couldn't quite get it. It is so hard to win this race, but they got it right there at BK Industries. Blaine Keys and Roberto Crown Jr., what a combination for those guys. And Roberto Crown Jr. just made history today, winning the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. Wow, thank you all so much. This has been such a great week, great couple of weeks, and it has been so much fun doing the Indianapolis 250 once again. And Roberto Crown Jr. getting the race victory here. A driver that's been around for a long time. Took a long time to finally get their first career win on the channel. It came last year. And now an Indy 250 champion here today. I'm very impressed with what those guys have done. But I'm very impressed with how this race played out. Once again, another caution-free event. No wrecks. No one failed to finish. It's such a different race now than it used to be back in the day. But still just as much fun, and I hope all of you all enjoyed it just as much as we did here today from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And of course, Murray, tomorrow we've got the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500. We'll be back in attendance for that again. Always such a fun time there. And does this get you excited for that? It's going to be good to be back home again in Indiana tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely! It's the best day of the year. It's like Christmas. It's like race car Christmas. So. We're excited and just so grateful to be able to be a part of it in any capacity.
And Matt, we got to get you over there sometime. We got to find a way to do it some year, and we're going to make that happen at some point. But hey, so thankful for all you guys, and so thankful for this entire community and what it's meant to me over the past decade. I cannot tell you how much you all mean to me. I mean, obviously, I said that a lot last year when we did the 10th anniversary race, and I've said that a lot kind of throughout this whole Indy 250 week. And, I'm so blessed, I'm so thankful to have had this, because without this community, I don't think I'd be in the position I am in life right now. And this has taught me so many things career-wise. It has taught me how to be a better person, and you all are some of the best people. You are all the best people in my life, and I cannot thank all of you enough for just being such a great community here. And this race is kind of the crown jewel of what we do here on the channel each and every year. We all come together. It is so many people that come together now for Indy 250 week behind the scenes. I have to give such a huge shout out to Hergé Alonso for painting a lot of these schemes, doing a lot of the tracks for us, doing a lot of the graphical work for us. I mean, he does so much behind the scenes work for us on this channel. I could not do it all without him. Have to thank Matt Tuck here for putting together that amazing intro to this race that you guys saw, and for running the Pro Series race earlier in the week. I'm sure that was a great one there here from Indianapolis. Have to thank, of course, Caleb Rose and Nathan Stapleton. They're the two guys that kind of do a lot of the other stuff on the channel. Of course, Caleb Rose, the right-hand man on the channel, ran the Freedom 100, has been running the National Series, doing such an excellent job, and he's got a bright future ahead of him in this community. Obviously, got to thank Nathan Stapleton for putting together the Little 250, running the Sprint Series, all that he does. Got to thank Andrew Miller for putting on the Top Dragster Open. You all saw that event last week. And, of course, got to thank you, Murray. You started it all in this community 12 years ago as my very first friend, and it is such an honor to be your friend. You've taught me how to be so much better as a person over the years. I cannot thank you enough for that. And to have this event and have you be a part of it, to be a part of the Real Life Indy 500 with you the past 5 years has just been absolutely incredible. I'm looking forward to this year, and thank you. Thank you so much. You mean the world to me, Murray, and all of you mean the world to me, but Murray was the one that started it all here in this community, and I can't thank you enough for it, man. Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much, and it's an honor to be a part of it as well.
And it's an honor to have you too, Matt.
No, I mean, it's cool to be part of this. I mean, like I said, I've gotten to watch since it was Diecast cars, so to get to watch 13 of these is really cool. And who knows, maybe we'll get another 13 of these would be maybe we'll get another 13 of these.
Who knows?
That'd be pretty crazy.
This race isn't going anywhere. I can guarantee you that. That's all I'm going to guarantee. But this race is not going anywhere. It's too much. It means too much to ever take this away from you guys. So I can guarantee you that. Hey, you all have a great Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy tomorrow. Like Murray said, race car Christmas. It is Christmas Day for me. It is the best day of the year. Indy 500, Canadian Grand Prix. I don't think anyone cares about that. And then the Coke 600. Going to be so much fun with all the races we've got in real life tomorrow. Going to be such an honor to be there in Indianapolis tomorrow. Back home again in Indiana, and absolutely love it. And it's just awesome to be here after all these years, still doing this. A lot has changed in my personal life and the behind the scenes, especially over the past few years. And one constant that has remained over that whole time is this community, this love for this game, this love for racing. We've come together. Despite everything that happens, we're still together, still doing this, and it's absolutely incredible, and I cannot thank you guys enough for it. That's all I've got. You all have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your weekend. Congratulations to Roberto Crown Jr., the winner of the 2026, the 13th running of the Indianapolis 250. Here are the point standings for the Haas IndyCar Series after 8 races. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks with the Michigan 100. That'll be a fun race, won't it, Matt? That's always a fun one for Michigan.
Oh, absolutely. Michigan always absolute thriller.
We're going to have a lot of fun for our next race here in the Haas IndyCar Series. We're halfway through the season. We also got a special race coming up from Chicagoland Speedway on July 4th, the America 250K. We're going to be doing 104 laps there at Chicagoland, and I think Roberto Crown Jr. is going to be a part of that race, especially after winning this Indianapolis 250. Going to have fun in a few weeks' time with that one. But a lot of great stuff coming up here on the channel, but I'm going to take a break because I tell you what, Indy 250 week is a lot, and we'll do the Wall Cup Series race next week, but I'll be off from recording for a few days as I'm out in Indy, so we're going to have a lot of fun going throughout the rest of the year, but I got to give my voice a break here. Had a lot of fun. Hey, thank you all so much for watching, as always. A huge thank you to Murray Papiani and Matt Tuck for joining me here today for this 13th running of the Indianapolis 250, and a huge thanks to you for being a part of this, for watching, for supporting this channel, supporting Kayla, supporting Nathan through all this. It is a lot of work. It is a group effort, and you guys help make it possible, and I cannot thank you all enough. Congratulations to Roberto Crown Jr. once again on the race victory here in the Indianapolis 250. And as always, I will see you guys later.